Almost 2 years ago, my best friend took his life. And he was a very successful Metro officer. He did unbelievable things for this community. He had a heart of gold. So many officers don't have the tools to really understand what it's like to retire. Yeah. To not be identified by that badge that they wear. They're always in help mode. They're always, looking for what the next thing they can accomplish is. And so Rich just started losing his way. But then the day that this occurred, I had some unbelievable conversations with his now widow. Mm-hmm. And I said, MJ, did you sense anything? And she's like, yeah, I mean, he cried at night. I held him. He went and wanted to get counseling. And then when he called, they told him it'd be 2 weeks. A couple days later, he ended up taking his life. We lose more police officers to suicide after retirement than we do in line of duty deaths.
Do you think anything is possible inside of Sin City, Las Vegas? I believe what God is doing is that he's bringing people together under the spirit of unity to display that anything and everything is possible through him. This is Las Vegas United.
Hey everyone, welcome to Las Vegas United. I am your guest host, Sharelle Mendenhall, and today I have the privilege and honor to interview someone who I actually met in politics, in the political world, but really got to know him, and his heart for this city and what he does nationwide is absolutely powerful. So today I get to interview Tom Wagner.
Hey, thank you. I appreciate it. It's an honor to be here.
So Tom, tell me a little bit about your background before we go into kind of the future stuff.
Wow. Okay. Moved here in 1988 for my law enforcement passion, career. Was a farm kid from Minnesota. I knew how hard my family worked on the farm and watched a TV show when I was young and said, hey, I want to be a police officer. So followed that dream, came out here in 1988 after getting a degree in criminal justice and pre-law. Started a great career with Las Vegas Metro, and then after 25 years, decided that was probably enough and time to go follow some other pursuits.
Okay.
Time on at Metro was great, being involved with great community projects. Actually, I'm honored to say I started the Nevada Amber Alert, was the sergeant in charge of missing persons, which was just a tough job, but it was honestly really good because we got 97% of all the people that were reported back.
No way, 97%.
So 97 is a pretty good figure.
Wow.
Yeah. And unfortunately, we have a lot of people that go missing, whether it's runaways or endangered or elderly.
Yeah.
But with the resources that our sheriff gives us, the manpower, the knowledge that these guys come with, we had a good return rate.
Which is amazing because now with like the new app Ring, you actually see quite a few people posting, whether it's a runaway or an elderly, like that actually happens quite a bit, like an elderly going missing. And, I don't know that I was aware of how much, because that's just in my area for the Ring app and how many people are going missing. So, I mean, obviously, that's very personal for me. So I'm super thankful that, there's people like you, out there, and 97% is incredible.
Just a small piece of great detectives and people that, even volunteers.
Yeah.
We have an unbelievable volunteer corps that we can call in the middle of the night and say, hey, we have an endangered adult.
Wow.
Let's go. And sure enough, you'll get 30, 40 people to
No
show
way.
up. They're already pre-trained. They know exactly what we're looking for. We hand them a clipboard, and now they just go. And they're eyes and ears for us. Because we're very limited, obviously with only so many resources, because there's so many other reports and incidents that these regular officers have to handle. It's great having volunteers.
That's amazing. So moving on, I want to ask you a little bit about your foundation, what it is and why you started it.
3630 Foundation is, I think, the apple of my eye now. I was blessed to have two other nonprofits, but just recently, almost 2 years ago, my best friend took his life. And he was a very successful Metro officer. He did unbelievable things for this community. He had a heart of gold. He was my best friend. We moved out here from Minnesota together, traveled across country. We lived together for the first year and a half that we were trainees and in the academy. And Rich just had a passion to help people. He was that motorcycle officer that came to your scene. If it was a hit and run, he tracked down who that person was. That guy's tenacity was unbelievable. He would find a dog on the side of the road and take it home and adopt it. To the point where his wife, MJ, said, it's enough. It's enough, Rich. Yeah. So after retiring, I think after 3 years, he just lost his way. So many officers don't have the tools, I think, to really understand what it's like to retire. Yeah. To not be identified by that badge that they wear, the vest that they wear. Okay. They're always in help mode. They're always, looking for what the next thing they can accomplish is. And so Rich just started losing his way. And I didn't pick up on it. I really didn't. Days before the incident, we had coffee like we always do. We ride motorcycles together, stop at a Starbucks, just sit there and talk about life. And I had another charity event, the Las Vegas Bowl, that I sit on. And I said, hey, Rich, why don't you volunteer for me? Be part of my security team. And he just shrugged it off, and that was Rich. And I really didn't sense anything. But then the day that this occurred, I had some unbelievable conversations with his now widow. And I said, MJ, did you sense anything? And she's like, yeah. I mean, he cried at night. I held him. He went and wanted to get counseling. And then when he called, they told him it would be 2 weeks. And then a couple days later, he ended up taking his life. And so at that point, I was like, you know what, this cannot be. Yeah. We lose, and I didn't know at the time, now I've done my research, we lose more police officers to suicide after retirement than we do in line of duty deaths.
No.
So if you can imagine the numbers, we lose several hundred officers every year to tragic situations when they're on duty.
Right.
Double that number. They've given their lives to this community, to a community, and then all of a sudden to feel so bad about something, whether it's personal or, they just get in their head and it spin out of control and go down the rabbit hole. And so I decided, you know what? With your permission, MJ, I want to start a foundation.
In his honor. Okay.
In his honor.
So what does the 3630 Foundation do?
So, and I got to tell the backstory. My badge number is 3629. I walk in the door the minute before Rich does. So he gets badge number 3630. From that day forward, he gave me guff about it. And he was always mad that I got a lower P number. He was brilliant. So he tested well, he Ourobored well. And I just smirked and said, oh, well. And it was honestly that next morning when I went to MJ's house and I said, you know what? Something hit me last night, MJ. And I saw Rich's badge number. And she's like, what do you mean? And I said, for 30-some years, Rich gave me guff about having a lower P number than him. What if we found started a foundation in his honor, the 3630 Foundation? And she just looked at me. She's like, oh, my gosh, Tom, are you serious? And I'm like, yeah. We couldn't start a foundation called 3629. Yeah. Doesn't sound good. But 3630 just flows. And that was his life. He was a man of honor. He had integrity. He was a man of God. And so I said, hey, we need to do something about this. Yeah. If I had called and was told I had 2 weeks to wait to go see a counselor, that's unacceptable. Yeah. And so we started this foundation. MJ is just an unbelievable woman that is the president of RTC. Their son, Quinn, Rich raised. And then I went out to our community members and found some great community members that said, yes, I'm in. Okay. So the foundation started. We have our nonprofit status now, and we've raised almost $100,000. And really what we're doing, I've got to give kudos to our sheriff, Kevin McMahill. Kevin tells a story that he lost his brother to suicide. And that affected Kevin. And when you get in the academy, you're taught, be strong. You're on to the next call. You might have saw a baby that drowned or whatever, but now you've got to go to the next call. Yeah. And we were never taught how to decompress, how to not take that home with you, how to gauge life after that and not take that internally, but how you express that,
Right.
to somebody. So Kevin took it upon himself to start Metro's Wellness Bureau. And Kevin's done an unbelievable job. We've had numerous conversations, and now he has 6 clinicians that are busy round the clock.
Wow.
So he's got somebody in family crisis. He's got somebody in gaming. He's got somebody in drug addiction. He's got somebody in relationship statuses. So he's found clinicians that he now has hired, and we have a wellness bureau off campus. So it's nobody knows you're going.
Good.
You call it a line and you go. So I said to Kevin, I said, do we have the resources for our retirees? And he's like, yeah, but unfortunately, Tom, they're behind my active guys, my active dispatchers, my active civil.
Understood.
And they have to be, because that's his priority.
Right.
But my priority is those officers. So I said, what if we partnered, and the 3630 Foundation, we had a room or something, or we had something that was available for those officers, and we're in great conversation about that. So I'm very excited that since this started just a few months ago, we've helped 5 retired officers get the services that they needed. And it's really been all word of mouth. When you retire from Metro, they say thank you, and you're out the door, and life continues for them.
Yeah.
Life starts for us at that time, right?
Yeah.
I mean, you work your whole life to retire. And so when you retire, you really lose contact with everybody,
Right.
unless you make the effort to stay engaged.
That makes sense.
So now we have a great network, a morning breakfast that we do. Several hundred officers will show up. We get a local business to sponsor burritos or whatever. We just talk about life. What's
That's awesome.
available? What's the resources out there? So we've gotten some great traction on that. And I think this next year is going to be really exciting.
That's powerful. So if people were to want to get involved, how can they follow your journey? Where can they find the 3630 Foundation?
Yeah, so the 3630 Foundation has a website, 3630foundationlv.org. My number, and the reason I'm proud to give it out is because you get that call at 1 in the morning. Hey, you don't know me, but I'm so-and-so, and I need help.
Yeah.
So that's been very powerful. So my cell number is 702-326-3363. And then hopefully down the road here within the next couple months, we'll get a dedicated phone line that'll forward to somebody that's willing to staff those lines. And it's just, it's fluid. It's in motion.
Yeah.
But we're doing the right thing.
That's
And,
awesome.
Yeah.
So you're still in building, which is incredible. So if you want to partner, if someone wants to be involved, if someone needs help, needs a resource, this is kind of a one-stop shop just to have the conversation. And then if you don't have it, you have someone who will.
Yep.
So I love that. Kind of shifting gears, I wanted to ask you because, you've mentioned God, and I know that you're a business owner. So with Metro, with your foundation, with your business, how is faith or how has God played a role in your life?
I'll tell you what, it's been an unbelievable journey. I was in college, and there was it was a concert at my college, and Amy Grant was performing. And I looked at her photo. I said, this is a good-looking girl. I'm going to go to the concert. And I didn't know that night would change my life. I gave my life up that night. Was just moved by the message. I then joined Fellowship of Christian Athletes, which I'm still involved in. And for me, it was that day that set my life in a different path. I got on Metro. I had the integrity that I needed. I had the reputation that I think precedes me now. It was honestly the core values that my parents put together, working on a farm and understanding what family is and your community.
Yeah.
And so, I needed God when I first started my first business because after 25 years of Metro, I took the leap of faith of opening an Allstate insurance office. Knew nothing about business. didn't know payroll, didn't know, compliance issues. You get a paycheck every 2 weeks from Metro, and then you go home.
Yeah.
So it was really the faith that I had that I could do it, and I ran my office that way. During my interview processes, I asked about their faith. I'm not going to shy away from it. I never have. I think you know that. And so it's been a blessing to be a small business owner. I have a security company after the badge security. Was honored to be part of your Aurora Fest. And I think Allstate actually took a nice journey on that with you.
Yeah.
Because like I told you that day, hey, something was getting at me before our meeting, and I said, Allstate wants to pay for any meal that and you know what? I think it's made us much closer. I love your journey, and I think you have to be embraced with your community.
I think what was powerful is I actually didn't know your origin being at a music space, that you found God, and you offering, because that was a silent dream I had of mine, for the Roar Fest, was to have people who couldn't afford it to be able to have food. And we had this great partner, which is Kingdom Minded, who came in and volunteered, gave a ton of resources, but now I'm getting choked up. They had evangelists, they had people out on the streets outside of the venue, and they were sending people in that were on the streets. And some of them, being in Vegas, as you know, they weren't dressed. And they were so excited for food.
The passion of people.
They were so excited for food. And, it was just so cute. Like, can I have this? Can I, and just seeing someone be so excited about a meal was so powerful. And to your point, like, who knows why someone walked in?
Yeah.
But that could be the reason that God meets them, is for a meal.
Yeah.
Could be for music, could be for a meal, but there's so many different ways where God can use that moment to change someone's life forever. Like you said, that was your moment. Changed you for the rest of your life. And so, man, just goes to show.
Well, and let me tell a story about that day, too. As we're there watching people dance and enjoy themselves, I remember two distinctly people, one male, one female. Male, like you said, not dressed nicely, but he was just praising God and just loving that he was able probably to be there and not be judged by what was outside those fences.
Yeah, that's a good point.
He danced for hours, and I sat there and I just watched him. At first, I was like, okay, I got to watch this guy because the Metro guy comes in and he's all worried about everybody else. But then I was like, no, this guy's harmless. I'm now enjoying seeing what his journey was for that day. And I know it was somebody from outside that invited him in. I mean, he didn't come walking by and, listen to some music and then pay to get in. He didn't have those means. He didn't look like. And then the female, she was probably on the mental health side, a little on whatever spectrum. But she knelt. She prayed. It was just so nice to see somebody engaged that probably didn't have any nickels in her pocket, but she had a meal, she had music, and she waited. She was there till the end.
Yeah. And it was 114 outside.
Yes, it was.
We were dying.
Yeah, so success for you guys. Really good.
No, that was a powerful moment. I think something too, just as far as like legacy, which is really important. You actually have your son. Yeah. They got engaged in Allstate with you. So tell me a little bit about that journey and that shift.
Yeah, so my youngest son was a professional baseball player, blessed to make it to the major leagues. And so when I retired from Metro, it was just to go watch him. Now I'm going to enjoy life. I spent all those years hitting him ground balls every day after. I didn't take promotions because I wanted to be there for the boys. And so when he finally got drafted, it was a great moment between both of us and his older brother too. Jake's unbelievable in his own right. But so when Tyler came home, it was like, okay, what are you going to do with your life? Yeah. He's like, I don't know, Dad. And so I had an opportunity to buy an Allstate office and came up with a crazy idea that we could run an Allstate office and be successful in Nevada. He's like, Dad, what do we know about insurance? I'm like, we don't have to know anything. You know what? We have relationships. And as long as we can pass those tests and create a family atmosphere at our office, we're going to succeed. And he's like, okay. So I paid a minimum wage. We weren't making any money because I had debt on the business, so I needed to pay off the debt. And then, he learned the business. He saw how I treated people. We did present drives during Christmas. I made sure that our employees were engaged. I paid for their car washes on a Friday. And I just wanted him to understand what it's like to treat people up. And what I mean by treat people up is making sure that they understand that they're important to you. They're not just my employee. We call them family. It's the Wagner Family Insurance. So he comes to me one day and says, Dad, I like what you're doing. I want to start my own. And I'm like, okay. So I went from, being this owner, mentor to him, really not doing much at the office, to now my son's left, who's really engaged in the business. He takes my employees. Now I got to start all over. So I start all over, find 2 more good people, teach them up, and then this past year I was blessed to pass it on to Tyler, and he now has 2 offices. He's doing unbelievable, new agent of the year, just like Dad was the prior year. So kind of cool.
That's amazing, and I just think that's beautiful, just as far as legacy. I've been talking about this quite a bit because whether it's mentorship, mentoring the next generation, or a legacy, it's really important to be raising our kids up, to teach them up, and also to think in terms of generations. Because I think we've really lost that. Like we focus so much on ourselves that we're not thinking about the kids, the next generation. Like you said, even passing up opportunities, for a status symbol, when it's important to just be pouring into the ones around us, which is so powerful. In Las Vegas, it seems kind of almost like an oxymoron to a lot of people that you're a Christian in Las Vegas. So how have you been able to continue to cultivate that relationship with God in the city that everyone sees from the outside as this horrible city?
I think when people see your heart, they understand that there might be a little more something in there than just your heart. And so for me, I've always, every board I sit on, yesterday I'm at the Las Vegas Bowl recap meeting, and we're just talking about, how the last game went. And I was honored to be, recognized for something. And, I get to talk with people afterwards. And it's just the relationships that you build when they see your heart. And I don't have to say every day to them, hey, how's your Christian walk? I'm living it. They're seeing how I'm doing it. And then it gives me that little opportunity every once in a while just to throw in, hey, what church are you attending? I saw on social media that you and Stephanie are looking for a church. Have you tried this church? Do you want to go Sunday? So it's just those little touch moments that I think are important, especially in Vegas. I mean, people move here and they're like, oh, I'm going to do it my way. No, you're not doing it your way. This is Vegas. It's all about relationships, and it's all about how you treat people. You get indoors, I think, with my new business. I get indoors now because of a relationship I built 10 to 15 years ago.
I would absolutely agree with you. You have everyone on speed dial.
Because of relationships. How you treat people, what you do for your community, people see those things. And that's one of my proudest things is my involvement in community.
So it's community, it's kingdom. You're inviting all the pieces together. It's relationship, and I think a lot of people complicate it. But you can just simplify it down to, hey, you have the integrity. You work hard. You bring kingdom principles. You treat people well, and success comes.
Oh, look at Jesus' walk. I mean, he didn't do anything special out there. He was that ordinary guy that traveled throughout the country and just attracted people. Now, great, his messages were unbelievable, but I think people recognize this is just a plain guy. He didn't have anything to carry. He had his walking shoes and maybe a stick and just did life with people. And I really think that's what it's all about. Simplify it, don't overcomplicate it.
I mean, he did have miracles follow him, so.
Well, yeah. I mean, from a tree to this.
Couple of those things. Well, we actually only have a couple minutes left, and I want to make sure that you have the opportunity to share. Is there anything else that you want to, for anyone, and you can look right at that camera right there, is there anything else that you want to share right now that's on your heart for people?
I think it's just be involved, care about your community. I think so often as Las Vegas people, we do life, and then we come home, we shut our garage door, and you really don't interact with your neighbors. And I think we as a community need to do better. We can show people that we have good hearts, and just be the person that God's made you be. Getting those little comments in there, understand, me and Sharelle, and we play pickleball together. We find people that have the same passion, and then you can just casually mention your faith. So
I do that often.
I would, yeah. Oh, yes, you do.
I bring up politics and faith.
Yeah, yep. And in politics too.
Yeah.
I mean, why not align yourself with persons that have the same, not only political stance, but more importantly, what is your view on, the things that occur in the Bible?
Yeah.
Abortion, treating people well. I'm not left, I'm not right. I'm the guy who work across the aisle, find the best candidate, and understand what he or she brings, and then help that person out. Mm-hmm. I mean, people are afraid to be involved in politics. I talk politics all the time.
Right.
I have a son that's left. I have a son that's right. I love them both. Mm-hmm. But I appreciate what the son that has his passion on the left, I appreciate his views. Mm-hmm. We're going to continue to do life. I'm not going to close them out of my life because we think differently.
Right.
So,
which some people have. And I think one of the biggest things is, you said it earlier, is just like, what does the Bible say? And just going to that point, but also to have the conversations, because for so long it was like, don't talk politics, don't talk religion. And this is where we are, because we've forgotten how to disagree respectfully, mm-hmm. also how to learn from one another. It's like, you have a different walk. You have a different experience in politics. You have a different experience with God and how he met you, how many times he protected you while you're out, in Metro, yeah. and your friends, and just kind of calling on God to watch over you every single time. Yeah. You put on that badge, but I know that we could go on for days, talking about this. But you guys, I just want to say that this has been an incredible interview, and I need you guys to get engaged. Like you said, whether it's through the 3630 Foundation, from some other community. I can tell you, I don't know how many boards you're actually on, but get involved in the community, build the relationship, and also keep God at the center of absolutely everything you do, and he will make your path successful. So thank you for joining us on Las Vegas United.
Today's show was guest hosted by Sharelle Mendenhall. To connect with Sharelle online, visit her on social media at Sharelle Mendenhall. The guest this week is Tom Wagner from the 3630 Foundation. For more information, please visit 3630foundationlv.org. Thanks for watching our broadcast. Las Vegas United is produced by CTN Vegas. For more information about CTN Vegas and our show, please visit ctnvegas.com.